I mean, for me, in terms of Professor Wole Soyinka visiting, it's not really about me. I remembered when I asked him the question of come and see the play, he so humbly accepted that invitation.
Right.
And I remember thinking that it's too much to ask of him to do anything else. But the moment he was asked the question of around legacy, he wanted to be here. He wants to be here to speak to us, to speak to the next generation. Again, that is what I find quite incredible about this I'll say olden day generation leaders. People like Professor Wole Soyinka, people like Nelson Mandela. Is how they are not selfish. They are so giving.
Absolutely.
They are so humble. Their humility, their generosity always ceases to amaze me.
Dr. Kareem, when you chose to stage The Swamp Dwellers, what did you feel this play was asking of us?
It's asking us to really question where we're at as a society in terms of how we care about each other. I'm not talking about just how we care about each other as a family, but how we care about each other as humans. We've found ourselves now all over the world in a situation where we're just taking here and there, all over the place. We go into this place, we take their oil, we kind of destroy societies all over the world. We intervene with our technology, but then I think this play asks questions about the people who are left behind, the people who are left behind to pick up the pieces. So when you go into a rural part of Africa to go and drill for oil and you leave your spillage behind, when you float your rubbish all around the world to go and fill it into different places, then what happens to the people who live in those communities? Because this play deals with a community in the Niger Delta who have experienced the consequences of this type of what I would call visitations into the community that have consequences. So this play itself was inspired by the discovery of oil in the Niger Delta in the 1950s. And we know that there are big players within that. We know that there is the Texaco, there is the Shell. In fact, a lot of the very big oil companies operate and continue to operate in Nigeria. But it's what they leave behind and the consequences for those communities in terms of oil spillage, leading to disruption of crops, leading to damage to trees, leading to damage to just community generally. And as a result of that, people have to flee from those environments in order to survive, in order to find other means of livelihood. So the Niger Delta would have been a place where there was a lot of fishing, a lot of people whom their livelihood is to fish, their livelihood is to farm. But then obviously when a lot of spillage happened and a lot of contamination happened in the land, then the people could no longer grow crops. They could no longer fish. So again, what happens to those communities? Who is supporting them? What part of the wealth that the world is collecting from different parts of the world? How do some of this wealth, how do they go back to those communities where they are actually the source of the wealth? They are the source of the cars. We all drive cars here, guzzling petrol. There are consequences. Every single one of our actions, every single one of the things that we consume, all have consequences.
Right, totally agree. The other thing that is very distinct is that the drapes around this are not just about aesthetics. It's literally about the swamp. And in your production, it speaks to a lot more. What story are you telling with the actual dressing of the stage of the property? Actually,
the dressing is to allow audiences to just experience what it must be like for this community of people all over the world who find themselves having the consequences of pollution. What happens is the communities themselves become very fragile. They become very unstable, and what you see around you is actually a lot of contamination. There's a lot of claustrophobia in this play around how people live, how difficult it is to live in some of these environments.
Right. Quite significantly, this play was written in the 50s by Professor Wole Soyinka, or as other people are now teaching me, he's referred to as a living ancestor. He's going to be coming to Utopia Theatre for this particular production. And I wondered whether you could speak to the significance of legacies and the lessons and somebody like that coming to see the work that you are directing.
I mean, for me, in terms of Professor Wole Soyinka visiting, it's not really about me. I remembered when I asked him the question of coming to come and see the play, he so humbly accepted that invitation.
Right.
And I remember thinking that it's too much to ask of him to do anything else. But the moment he was asked the question of around legacy, he wanted to be here. He wants to be here to speak to us, to speak to the next generation. Again, that is what I find quite incredible about this I'll say olden day generation leaders. People like Professor Wole Soyinka, people like Nelson Mandela. It's how they're not selfish.
Yeah.
They are so giving.
Absolutely.
They are so humble. Their humility, their generosity always ceases to amaze me. And the way that there is no protocol around them in terms of how easily you can speak to Professor Wole Soyinka despite all that he's achieved, how humble he is, how very open and giving he is. Never ceases to amaze me. And I think we all can learn a lot from that. We all can learn a lot about how to be good leaders. I think for me, the legacy of him coming here is for people to be able to see someone like that, not feel that what we're doing here is too little for him to engage with. He's willing to engage with us on our own terms and willing to give his time. At the age of 92, to get on a flight all the way from Nigeria and come to the United Kingdom to a company like Utopia Theatre, it doesn't need to do that. I'm agreeing, nodding really strongly with you. And also there was something you touched on about generations, but around this particular production, you and him or the collective team are also building around engagement with young people. That has really stood out for me. What is the significance of that in your opinion? And for me it tells a lot, but what do you consider that to be? The significance of this visit from Professor Wole Soyinka is that I know for a fact that he has very strong connection to young people. He loves young people.
Okay.
Whenever anyone talks about oh, what about these leaders coming to come and meet you? For example, the last time when he was here, oh, should we bring these leaders? He just always said, where are the young people?
Wow.
Where are the young people?
Yeah.
And I remember visiting him in Nigeria recently to go and speak to him about this play. And we had our interaction, and my grandchildren were in the other room. And then as the meeting came to a close, they came into the room. And you can see him just light up.
Oh, wow.
You can see him rushing around trying to saying, let me see if I have some books to give you. And for me, it's that whole thing of people that haven't lost touch with the people coming behind them. They've achieved so much. They could live in that bubble of, I'm this great man, I'm this. But yet, what they are interested in is not the publicity, is not the
auras.
It's not exactly. It's not all of that. It's, can I meet some young people?
Yeah.
Can I seed something in them that could make them go, oh, I could live my life differently. I could do this differently.
Yeah.
I could be anything that I want to be.
Right.
And I remember asking him the question about coming to Utopia. But I said, for me, what is important is actually that we make it such an experience that it's something that you want to do.
Yeah.
And he was the one that mentioned about, where are your young people?
Wow.
And I remember someone else telling me as well that when it was his 90th birthday, and they had a room full of dignitaries and all these people, and he was in this room, having fun, but as soon as that event finished, he said to the people, where are the young people?
Wow.
And apparently, despite a bad knee, despite his age, he walked around the streets of London, meeting and speaking to and engaging with young people.
That's pretty powerful. It resonates with me, and when I've visited the village back in the day, it's less so now, but back in the day where the elders would actually eat with the young people, and those were the spaces where we took knowledge, we learned, and we engaged, and it means that there's continuity. Just coming back to the Swamp Dwellers, it's such a profound, prolifically written play. As a director, what does it take for you not to flatten that story that's from the 50s?
For me, as a director, what it takes not to flatten any story, let alone something like the Swamp Dwellers, is to allow the writer to speak, to not feel like you know everything, to really dig deep, but also to listen to all of the people around you that you're creating this piece together. Because sometimes there have been moments within this piece that you read something, it feels like this is what it means. But actually, 4 different opinions on what that thing means, suddenly everybody starts questioning, is that really what it's saying?
Yeah.
So he writes in such a way that everything is not literal. You have to really get your thinking caps on and really dig deep and ask big, deeper questions. His plays are asking big, deeper questions. They are not asking, it's not a kitchen sink play. It's not, you may think it's a husband and a wife in a house, they're arguing, but no. Take every single word that they're saying and dig deep, and you will start to see the layers. You start to see all of the spiritual connections, the way that they relate to this world around them. You start to see the writer asking questions about people's hopes and people's dreams, about those basic things that make us all human. We all have, for those people who have children, we all have dreams for our children. We all have hopes for our children. even wherever we're from, we all have a level of connection to spirituality in whichever way. Either the Western one that's been put on you, or the one that you grow up with, or whatever you have, you're connected. Even if you don't know it, you're kind of connected to something on another level of spirituality. That's why when things happen to us and we say, oh, my instinct told me this, my instinct told me that, that is all part of it. And I think it's that I find very fascinating about the way that Professor Wole Soyinka writes. That it's very deep. A lot of things are not spelled out for you; they're metaphorical. But the most important thing that I've discovered, in order not to flatten this play, is don't try to do something with it. It doesn't need. It's the kind of play that don't dress me up. I don't need dressing up.
I'm already full. Wow. Because
you're a director, or because you're whatever, because you're... Even with the sound design of this play, we found that out in the last few days.
Right.
There'll be moments where a sound comes in and suddenly it just jars with you. And I remember just saying exactly the same thing. Is what I told myself the first time when I read this play. I read this play for the first time and I remember thinking, okay, so this, it looks like this could happen and that could happen. I'm very excited about. And then eventually I read it a second time. And this play is saying to me, just leave me be. Just tell the story.
Wow.
Just open me up. Just learn what I'm about. And put me out there for what I am about. Don't try to dress me up.
Yeah.
I don't need stiletto heels. I don't need color. I don't need coloring. All the colors that you need are already in me.
Wow, it's so profound. You sound like, from the bits of the rehearsals, like the wisdom that comes from the beggar. Almost that. You wanted this Utopia Theatre, the creative hub, to be an experiential place, this play for people to be part of it in every way possible. Could you explain what people should be expecting in that context when they come here?
For people who've been into this space, they would expect what they knew of the place, which is a colorful, vibrant. People use the word vibrant a lot. Colorful, vibrant. Yeah, I come in here and I just go back home. But I think what we've done with the place, in order to tell the story of this play, is try to get audiences to imagine what life must be like for people in the swamp. If you were to live in this part of Nigeria for just one day, or be a fly on the wall for one day, just experience what this family is going through. It's for you to be part of that, to be right inside that. So the experience itself, I don't want to call it an experience because it's not, but it is a kind of experience, is that as soon as you walk through this door of Utopia Theatre, you are basically in that world, in terms of the lighting, in terms of the set, in terms of the design, and in terms of the people.
Okay, right. You took a bold step. You could have taken this production anyway, but you said, let's use what we have. What lessons are we picking up for ourselves as well? Like, we have things that we don't utilize and we always expect something external. I would like you to talk to the audiences in the way that you spoke to me about the direction you took when you decided to use what you have here.
So, as a leader, a Black leader in the sector, and as the founder and CEO of Utopia Theatre, I have been collaborating with many organizations, both on mid-scale and large-scale productions. And what I've found over the years is we're constantly making work only because we're relying on other people to give us the space to make the work. So we're not finding ourselves in a situation where we're continuously growing audiences. We're continuously creating opportunities for our people. We're continuously telling stories. We find ourselves in a situation where there's a stop and start. So obviously, if I'm relying on other venues to program my work, I'm not the only artist in this city. I'm not the only artist in this country.
Yeah.
So if I'm relying on their venues to program me, I can't expect them to program me all the time. But at the same time, I'm an artist. What does artists do? They create work.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So if I was back home, I'm not waiting. People back home don't wait around for some building to go, oh, I like your idea, so I'm going to co-produce it for you. So for that reason, we're going to make this work. No. People back home go, I've got an idea for a musical.
Yeah.
Can I find 10 people who are also interested in this and would want to do it with me?
Right.
And then they start thinking and facing some of the challenges. And that's exactly what happened with this. I wanted to direct this play. And I thought, okay, I've approached a number of people to either co-produce or be interested in programming it. But then the responses were not kind of favorable. But then I remember just sitting down one day and I just had a light bulb moment and just went, but you have a space. Okay, so it's going to seat 50 audience members. Dr Mojisola, you're making work.
Exactly.
You're making work and you're creating opportunities for actors who would currently now be sitting at home. They're working, they're honing their craft. There are creatives here who are working, honing their craft and making work. And you're creating visibility for African diaspora artists in this country. You're creating visibility for the work, you're creating visibility for the writers, you're showing the next generation that they don't need to sit around and expect other people to solve their problems for them. They don't need to wait around and expect other people to do things for them. They can start small and build from there.
Wow. And you literally brought out every possible technical aspect, I think, that I would expect even in a big cinema. So thank you for that, because that's inspiring, I think, more people than just me, that we can do things with what we have and we don't have to wait around. Before I let you go, I would like to speak to the casting process. What conversations did you have with the cast that made you feel this is who I want to? What were you looking for? Because this is a very special production, speaking to very important themes. What were you looking for?
The very day that I read the play for the first time, there were 3 people in the cast currently that I knew that if I can just get them, half of my job is done.
Yeah.
So Mr. Jude Akudike is somebody that I have huge respect for. As an actor, as an artist, as a creative, as a brother, but also as a mentor. And I thought, this is the kind of person that understands the story. And this is a man that he could be working anywhere, but he chooses to come and work for Utopia Theatre. I mean, you know, it's worked at the RSC. Anyone, you can't get bigger than where he's worked.
No,
and the names that is on his CV.
Yeah.
But the fact of the matter is, he comes to come and do this work for Utopia Theatre, not because he can't be doing anything else, but because he loves the work that the company is doing and is interested in creating visibility for African theatre in this country. And then I worked with Theo Ogudikwe on Death and the King's Horseman. He's the most generous, hardworking, talented actor you could ever meet. And again, as I read that script, I thought, that is my Kadie.
Yeah, and he embodies him so well. He's so convincing.
Exactly. Exactly. That is my Kadie. All I have to do is get him to say yes. But then again, it's knowing that these are people that they're not relying on their agents to make decisions for them. Because if we're relying on their agents to make decisions for them, they won't be here. These are people who want to be here.
Yeah.
There are much more profitable things they could be doing now if they let their agents make the decision.
Yeah.
And then I am the first Mr. Culture. We've worked together many times. As soon as I saw the drummer in that play, I said to myself, who is that quiet, driven, committed, hardworking, talented individual that I could bring to this production, that I know that I would have a smooth sailing experience. And again, as soon as I gave him a call, he was on board.
Wow.
So the rest of the people, by some chance, one person who auditioned for Death and the King's Osman and Crown of Blood, persistency. He continued to audition, and I thought to myself, actually, you know what? This is your opportunity. Let's give it to you. Another person that I saw in the production by chance, and I remember seeing him on that stage, Joshua, who plays Igwezu. And I remember seeing him on that stage on Liberation, which was on at Manchester Royal Exchange. I think it's about probably like a year and a half or two ago. And I remember thinking, there's something about this young man. And this is why I always say to actors, and I was saying this to Joshua, that sometimes you don't know where your next job is going to come from. Every single thing that you do, you must make sure you give it 100%. You don't know who is in the room. You don't know who is watching. The result of who's watching and how that person sees you on that stage might not come to you for another 6 years. That person might not call you for another 6 years. But when the right thing lands on that person's desk, they'll remember you.
Yeah.
And he sent me an audition tape. Several people sent an audition tape. And I remember watching him. I was with my daughter. And I said to my daughter, I said, have a look at this. And she watched it and she said, Mom, that's him.
Wow.
Mom, that's your Igwezu. And I know that, I knew straight away that there were so many other, we could still continue to it was very early in the process. I could have said, I'm going to see more people. I knew I wasn't seeing anybody else.
You stopped.
I stopped.
Wow.
So that's how the people have been put together. And it's been amazing.
It's been this morning Mr. Culture was talking about how he's been happy. He says there's so many places I work, but this has been happy. And so, well, thank you very much for spending your afternoon with me.